22 people. Happy Friday, folks. I think it's Friday. Is it Friday? I just pulled up my YouTube homepage and it says I have 436 videos. Probably 400 of those are lives, which means there's a lot of nonsense spewing from my mouth on the internet now. Welcome to tonight. I actually have a birthday celebration to go to at 8 p.m. And so I'm gonna make myself a quick little dinner so that if I do end up drinking, I'll have food in my stomach. And if I don't end up drinking, I don't pay for expensive bar food. Because even though I'm sure mom would like me to participate in festivities, I just don't feel like paying for bar food. Oh, so I'm gonna back away from the camera so you can see what my hand is doing. I don't know why, but I'm cupping one of my boobs. I feel like this week has been weird. Anyone else? I'm gonna stop cupping my boob now. But that was weird. Anyway, I bought garlic and I have some green bell peppers, and Grandma, hello Indonesia, has been forcing upon me a daily hard-boiled egg. They give her 2 every morning. I'm guessing she's tired of them, or she cares about me, or both. But she's been making me take home an egg every day, and if I don't, she, isn't happy. And I really don't need Grandma's unhappiness in my life whenever I can not have it in my life. And so we're gonna make a little dinner of stir-fried garlicky green bell peppers with some chopped hard-boiled eggs, probably lots of mayo, and maybe a little bit of spicy. And that's it. We're gonna hang out probably for about an hour or so, because then I have to recharge my social battery to actually see people in real life. So I'll leave these ice out. I just have these avocados that a farm school friend gave me that I don't really know what to do with, so maybe we'll chop that in too. I don't really know, y'all. But one thing's for sure, I gotta cook these bell peppers before they cook me. So that's what we're gonna do. I am going to move my computer off the stove so I can stop making myself feel nervous. And we're gonna chat. Is that cool with you? Does that sound good to you? How's your week been? It's time to do our daily, weekly check-in trauma bonding. Don't hold back now. Tell us everything that's going on inside your brainiacs. Hello, Finland. Unaddressed mental health issues. Me too. Me too. According to a farm school friend, there are 7 planets right now in retrograde. I don't know what that means, but if Mercury in retrograde is bad, 7 planets in retrograde simultaneously sound very bad, so keep your eyes open. Everybody pray for Texas and Louisiana and Hawaii and Greece, and I hear Italy's also on fire. We joke about this shit, but the world is on fire, y'all. And I am blessed and lucky to not be in those places right now, but it's coming. For all of us, it's coming. So live your life, be kind to each other, and then stop hoarding shit, because it might just all get burned up. So while you can still share your resources, maybe share it to the people who have lost everything so far in life. Zach, my ex-coworker at Delish, has been doing some fundraising for the Hawaii fires, because he still has his corporate job, and he still has corporate matching through a platform called Benevity. So basically all the donations that he's been getting, he's been submitting through Benevity, which means the company will match it 100 or 150% depending on circumstances. But there's only so much we can do. The world is, I wouldn't say the world is in trouble, but we certainly are. I think we are being dealt the consequences of our actions. I have been expecting this. I have been anticipating it. And now I will watch in misery as we relish our last moments. Chicken gizzards and rice. Sounds great. Congratulations to your daughter. How do you feel, Mom? Do you feel accomplished? You raised a daughter who's now in college. I know. Such is life. But I hope you also feel accomplished for both her and yourself. Sadness is a treat. It gives you flavor, baby. So much flavor in sadness. Just don't overdose on it. Hell yeah, heirloom tomato. Is it good? Did you eat it yet? Tell us. What are the tasting notes? Ooh, this pepper is no bueno. Chuck. I guess I should have expected some sort of surprise, given that these were $1 for 3. But still, I bought pretty good peppers for $1 before. Inflation tax. Deborah, thank you for watching for a couple of years. Not everyone likes these lives. I acknowledge it. I still get comments on the regular saying, wow, your lives are really depressing and they make my anxiety worse. But if you are an adult, you should know by now that it's not my responsibility to not make you triggered. It's your responsibility to know when to step away from situations that make you feel not good and unhealthy. I can't do everything for everyone all the time, but you can try to do stuff for yourself. So I highly encourage you to make choices that are healthy and good for you. Some of you sickos actually like these lives. I don't know why, but you do. So I'm here to give it to you. And those who don't want it, you don't need to eat it. I'm not going to be that Chinese mom who stuffs you silly with shit you don't want to eat. But I will put it in front of you and tell you that it's an option. And you are a grown-ass person who can say no. Just say no to drugs, kids. Okay, we're going to start peeling some garlic. I will do 2 whole heads of garlic in here because I just bought another sleeve of garlic and I still have these 2 from weeks ago. So we're just going to cook all the garlic in a shit ton of olive oil. And then we're going to let it cool, and then we're going to chop up our boiled eggs, and we're going to put it all together with a shit ton of mayo. Because the world is ending, so I'm going to make everything taste super good. I am INFJ. Does that match your conception of me? What do you associate with INFJs? How do I not complete the stereotype? Tell me everything you think about me. Fulfill my ego. This is the first live for you and you already love it? Oh, wow, okay. I am delighted to hear that. Wow, this group is INFJ might go see some friends this weekend. It depends on how good I'm feeling. I have a feeling that my period is coming because this week I've been on a strictly chocolate oatmeal yogurt cereal diet. It's like very carb heavy, super sugary. I feel like, yes, I do tend to like all of these things all the time, but this week especially, I feel like a ravenous werewolf with all of this imbalance of diet. Yesterday I ate 2 bags of salty ass snacks like Trader Joe's cheese puffs and doodles, and then this like you know that Asian snack that looks like instant ramen, but it's made to be eaten like a snack? I ate a whole bag of that. My sodium intake is like ridiculously high right now. My body does not feel good, but I gave it what it asked for. So some of us are just masochists, I think. Your psychiatrist told you to stop watching my lives because they are causing you to rethink a lot of things. I think you should listen to your psychiatrist. I don't want to enable your mental decline to the degree of unhealthy extremes, you know, like just a little bit of poison, but maybe not a lot. I feel like if you have a professional in your life going, don't watch this person's videos, maybe listen to them. Or maybe you just like your masochism. That's fine too. You're an adult. You do you, girl. Wow, we're going to be asking about Myers-Briggs matchmaking now? This is fascinating. I love learning things. Tell me all about matchmaking based on personality types. And do we actually like the Myers-Briggs test? Like, I don't know if I trust it because I hear that INFJ is supposedly one of the more rare types, but I know too many of you to believe that shit. Also, I feel like the Enneagram is superior in its holistic analyses of personalities, but everything is BS, but we get to choose what BS we believe in. You have to choose something to believe in, right? Otherwise, you become Buddha, which I guess if you are into that, be Buddha. But I don't know, Buddha seems a little bit unhinged, which is the whole point. You're supposed to be unattached. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to become Buddha yet. If your doctor says that your cholesterol level is too high and puts you at risk for heart disease, would you listen to dietary recommendations made by your physician? And if you answered yes to that, what is it about a psychiatrist telling you to not introduce certain elements into your life that you don't abide by, the way you would abide by a physician telling you your diet needs to change? I'm not criticizing your choices. Obviously, if you want to watch me and indulge me and be present with the chat community, I'm fine with that. But I'm just curious where we draw the distinction between the different types of health and the different types of mental advice and health advice that we are constantly being bombarded with from so many different directions in life too, not just doctors. I am. The biggest impact on my ability to speak eloquently, I think it just comes out of practice. I was a really shy kid. It's not any book that taught me how to speak. It's more of just like being constantly bullied and embarrassed and being an immigrant who didn't have the ability to use the language that was being spoken to communicate, and finding ways to make myself understood through that change in cultural and geographic locations and environments. I think I hated speaking. I remember my mom telling me on several occasions when I was a kid and I saw like free pens at a hotel lobby and I was afraid to ask for one. She would always encourage me and like urge me to go up and ask for one. So I think my mom had a lot to do with me becoming more comfortable with speaking. For better or for worse, she also pushed me to join the debate team. We had Lincoln Douglas debate in high school. I absolutely sucked ass at debate. Like sucked ass, guys. But there was one time where there was a huge snowstorm and like only 8 people showed up to debate and I got second place. So when there weren't any snowstorms, I did not place at all. But there you have it. Being able to speak to people was tied to my, I guess, desire to feel like I belonged somewhere. I think as an immigrant, it's really hard to feel like you become integrated or accepted by people. And I think language was one way for me to really take advantage of having a way to communicate so that I could feel anchored socially, which was something that was never a given in my childhood due to me having to move countries. Japanese was technically my second language, I just don't remember any of it anymore. I was 3 when I went to Japan. I stayed for a year, a little bit more than a year, and then my mom said 3 months within coming back to China, I forgot everything. So I don't understand any Japanese anymore, but technically it was my second language. And so technically English is my third language. And I studied French for 6 years and tried to study it in college, but failed miserably in oral ability. So I just cut my losses and decided not to pursue it any longer. I think knowing multiple languages helps your brain phrase certain ideas differently, helps you conceptualize certain things differently. It's mostly unconscious, I would say, but nevertheless, the way language shapes our perception is pretty crucial, and I feel like the Chinese language doesn't have time tense the way English does, doesn't really have gendered pronouns unless it's in writing. Oral Chinese, you cannot have certainty whether or not you're talking about a man or a woman, or even an inanimate object sometimes. The third person pronoun all sound exactly the same when spoken. They only have differences in writing. So that's a fascinating thing to think about, how language shapes our perception of time, how language shapes our perception of agency in terms of who's the direct and the indirect object in the sentence, who's doing what actions, the naming conventions for objects, I would say is much more logical in Chinese. Like beef is cow meat, chicken is chicken meat, pork is pig meat, and instead of inventing different names like pig becomes pork when it's eaten, we just attach the word meat onto the animal name. And I would argue that that is far more logical than English. I feel like English is not logical at all in naming these things. Oh, so that's a lot of garlic, holy shit. But yeah, I haven't read any books on how to speak. Mostly it's just been lots of forced speaking, I guess. Necessary speaking. But I also just really like talking. I like learning about people, and words to me are the best way to learn about people. not just in the way that, not just in what they say, but in how they say it. I think there's a lot of body language in language. In speaking, there's a lot of pauses and facial expressions. There's certain word choices. There are certain patterns and stylistics. I think they're all very personal revelations of how a person functions and thinks and holds themselves and holds others. And I think as someone who identifies more asexually than a lot of people, talking is very intimate to me. So it's my favorite way to communicate, and there are other ways to communicate. But language is quite accessible. If you speak it. I also think that this is a manifestation of a brain that never shuts off, which might be at the core of a lot of my mental issues, is having a brain that never shuts off. So there is a cost to being able to speak fluidly. It's probably because I've mentally practiced speaking too much. You guys know that I worked at Delish for 4.5 years and that all of my recipes are easily Googleable if you just look up the recipe name followed by my name followed by Delish. You don't even need to, you should probably just be able to like Google it with either my name or Delish. But my dumpling recipe is on there, my Chinese donuts recipe is on there. It's all on the internet. It's just whether or not you guys are willing to look for it, you know? That's why I kind of get tired of like babying people sometimes, because I'm like, you live in 2023 and you haven't defaulted to Googling everything first before asking. But that's just the judgmental part of me speaking. I understand not everyone lives in my brain, only I live in my brain. But sometimes my brain be a bitch. Understand. People just want social interaction, yeah. We get so much interaction and so much of it is low quality these days, just like our food and our clothing and literally everything else that we're ruining the environment to make. Everything is made of shit. Everything wears and ages like shit, and we consume all this shitty practice and become shit, and now the world has started burning itself down to maybe cleanse it of us, but unfortunately the first people to suffer are always the ones that should not be suffering first. We've made a world of inequality and unfairness, and while as children we're still taught the importance of being fair and considerate, the world certainly doesn't operate this way. Maybe hasn't ever operated this way. And that makes you think about how much of our world has been lies, and how much of our world has been brainwashing, and how much of our world has just been manipulating new people who are younger and less experienced into believing lies presented as truth. And it makes you reconsider what is worth keeping from your education and what isn't worth keeping from your education, and are you actually just a product of brainwashing, and who are you anyway? And maybe that's why your psychiatrist told you to not watch my lives. I can see why. I don't know if you want to be as crazy as I am, but the choice is yours. You're an adult now. Woo! I just carved my nail. That is a sharp knife. Good job, June. I like how Siobhan is like, oh good, I only missed the first half hour, as if all of these lives are epically long, which yes, of course they are. But maybe not tonight, Siobhan. I have a birthday party to attend at 8, and I would like to have some alone time with my noisy bitch-ass brain that won't ever shut up. But we are making garlicky green bell peppers that I bought for cheap, and hopefully we will eat it with the hard-boiled eggs that Grandma keeps insisting I take home from her facility every day. I have 8 of them now, despite eating 4 of them yesterday. Somehow they just keep stacking up. I don't think I've ever eaten this many hard-boiled eggs before in my life. You like this ensemble? This is a pair of Zara pants that Mom wore always at home, and I really didn't want them because the waist was too big for me. But 2 things really pulled it together. First of all, Zara pants never fit me. Anything that fits my butt, my thighs, my leg won't fit my waist. But since Mom died, I've gained weight, and also since I've realized that all I need is to have Grandma put in a little bit of elastic in the back, we have now made the waist perfect. Time and a little bit of bespoke tailoring will make even the most unflattering pair of pants from your dead mom a perfect fit. Yeah, Grandma and I have a nice bartering economy going. You know, she'll provide me with free services and leftover food that she doesn't want, like orange juice, that I then freeze into ice cubes. Maybe sometimes embed a few blueberries or orange segments in there, or pears, and I give myself a little frozen treat. Although now, in the last week of August, we have already turned to autumn. One of the most mild summers in recent memory, and one of the fastest ones. I am kind of scared that we are already hitting cold temperature before summer is even over. But so it goes, huh? So it goes. I want to show you cumin and coriander, which is one of the new August Spice Club spices. I've been using so much of it, it's like already half empty. Cumin and coriander was one of the spice combos that I discovered I loved during shooting lots of budget eats from home. And I'm really happy that they decided to make a blend. This has a special coriander from India, very limited stock. I guess the harvest that we were given was pretty small, so, but it's nice and funky, smoky, and savory from the cumin, and then the coriander is like a little bit lighter, floral, minty, and sweet. And together they have a little bit of like murky earthiness lifted by airy whispers. Airy whispers. Let's see what else we need. I need more spices in there for sure. I would like some wild ramps, maybe? Yes. I'm going with a little bit of wild ramps to make myself feel fancy. Lovely. Gary, what part of Florida are you from? We're going to go in with a little bit of Timor pepper, which is very similar to Sichuan peppercorns with a stronger candy-like tangerine smell and scent. I think all of Florida needs a little help, right? Wild ramps kind of taste a little bit garlicky, scalliony, a little bit leeky. It's all in that allium family. It's got nice and tender leaves when it's fresh. It's so silky and soft. It's like an elegant debutante ready for her first kiss. All the rage at fancy restaurants. They harvest the shit out of it, which makes it highly unsustainable. The way you're supposed to harvest ramps, I've discovered, is you don't uproot the whole plant. You're supposed to snip it so the plant can keep growing the way you snip your scallions and you plant it in water and it keeps sprouting. But because these fancy restaurants and farmers markets like to sell to chefs who like to present the whole vegetable for aesthetics and beauty and maybe textural difference, they end up uprooting the whole plant. And the plant itself, I think, takes somewhere like 7 or 8 years to grow. So if we're harvesting these plants from root every year, they're not going to regenerate at the same pace that we're harvesting them. Oh God, you have a leak in your kitchen? Nobody else, I hope. That sucks, Holly. I put some Nigella seeds in here. You don't think I'm depressive? I think I'm depressive. Good God. What counts as depressive in your book? Okay, y'all, I need your opinion. I'm going to a birthday celebration of a college friend acquaintance whom I've only seen like once or twice after graduation, and I graduated in 2011, and I think she graduated the year before that. And I haven't seen her since like before the pandemic, I feel like. So I'm gonna bring her a spice. We can either give her nigella seed or tomato powder. Which one do you think she would like? I'm giving her these because they're sealed still. They're brand new. All the other spices I've opened already. But opinions? Ooh, tomato powder. Okay. Done. Tomato powder it is. Thank you for your feedback. I'm thinking now we should add some tomato powder to this, too. And thank goodness I have a whole pound of it. Oh, that was brand new stock. It came in the last spice sauce. But thank you for the reminder. Now for the spicy element, we're gonna go with some smoked chipotle and black urfa. We're gonna go with the dark peppers today for a little bit of underworld. I really don't think it's worth making your own tomato powder, especially because tomato powder, if you're not doing it in an industrial facility, I would only recommend that you make powder out of the tomato skins. You could very easily make tomato powder with tomato skins in the microwave by doing it on low heat for 10 seconds until the skin crisps and can be pinched to a little flaky consistency between your fingers. But otherwise, tomatoes are so watery. I don't really think it's worth it. But you do you. Okay, I think the stir fry is done. Now I need to think about if I want to peel all 8 eggs, which would condemn me to finishing it within the next 3 days. The black lime and the chili salt. Yes, delicious. I'm glad you like your spices. I would love to receive food gifts and books, but I currently don't have a P.O. box, so you would have no place to send it because I am not giving strangers on the internet my home address. But thank you for the thoughts, and thank you for your generosity, and thank you for your offer. I appreciate you. Here is our stir fry. Do I like pickled eggs? I don't know if I've ever had a pickled egg, but I've dyed eggs before, and I've so-called pickled them in that kind of soy mixture, but I call that a marination and less of a pickle. I always associate pickling with like either super salty or super vinegary. Usually super vinegary is a prerequisite in my American mind, but I understand you can also pickle with just a lot of salt and natural fermentation, which probably ends up tasting vinegary anyway, because natural fermentation usually results in an increase in acidity. But short answer is no, I don't know if I've ever had pickled eggs. Make some? Okay, I pickled some beets, and so I think what I can do is take this beet pickling juice and pickle some of Grandma's eggs. Yeah? Should we pickle it now? I have a jar here that might fit some of them. You have a watermelon that is totally tasteless. I recommend that you cube it up and juice it and then sweeten it with other fruit juice and honey and make a watermelon slushy smoothie. You can also freeze the watermelon halfway so that it gives you more of a slushy texture too. We're gonna peel eggs. Do you want to come closer so you can watch me peel eggs? Wow, different angle. Look at that. Thank God I vacuumed today so that you don't see all of the hairs that were on my floor. The beet juice doesn't really taste much like anything unless you're drinking it straight. Pickled eggs, exactly. Pickled eggs. Oop. That's a cute little bounce. My apartment always looks clean. Yeah, just like how my face always looks smooth. And that's because I film on a very old phone that is mostly half broken. So low resolution equals perfection. Ironic, isn't it? The way we are tending towards high res and technology makes us scrutinize more and more everything, the textures. And the more details we see, the more product we have to use to make those imperfections disappear so that they are less apparent to the naked eye. Facilitated by technology, we have learned to hate ourselves more and more. What advancement, what progress, what happiness. Then we judge each other for not having enough high quality content. For having shitty equipment. We have all of these classist divisions of critique. I don't know why we keep doing this to ourselves, but we keep doing it. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Some people have watched me in 144p. Right when I moved into this apartment and I was working with the shittiest phone and the shittiest data. Guys, I don't know why YouTube hates me, but it does. My latest Lidl haul video is generating a third of the ad revenue that my H Mart video generated, and that my asexuality video generated, and that my depression video generated. The RPM for those videos are above $30. The RPM for the Lidl video right now is hovering around 10. I don't know what I did in the Lidl video, but I guess advertisers don't like it or they don't like me, but in whatever case, I'm not gonna make a lot of money off of the Lidl video, sadly. But such is life. Don't forget to poke holes. I'm not poking holes. Oh, bad idea. Bad idea, June. Don't worry, we're gonna do a little cleanup and then we will return to bad idea. This will not deter us, it will only delay us. May bad ideas live on forever so we may flourish in failure. Let's copyright that. Somebody copyright that for me. flourishing in failure since 1989. I was born with it, baby. Holly, I think the tortillas are very straightforward, and I really do think you're better off Googling a recipe that is tested rather than following my non-recipe that is very much untested. But my number one advice after making some tortillas for burlap and barrel is, actually, you should Google burlap and barrel homemade tortillas, because I made a recipe for them and that one is tested and I was very happy with it. But my number one advice is you should make sure your skillet is smoking hot so that you are blistering the outside of the tortillas and keeping the inside nice and moist and tender. Add a clove to the eggs. I don't know if I like that. I don't love cloves. I don't know who else, but actually Beryl reached out to me before I ever got fired from Delish to do like a collaboration, but then she never reached back out again, so I'm gonna let that shit go. I prefer being a lone wolf, and as you can see, I like making my mistakes several times before I acknowledge that I've learned and shan't do it again. We shall have beautiful eggs in 2 days. You just messaged her? Or you think I should just message her? Yeah, no, not me. I am a team player when the team wants me. But when I feel unwanted, nah. Yes, clove does have anesthetic properties. There's also a plant producing a berry that is numbing, exactly like Novocaine. Its colloquial name is called the toothache plant, which I believe if you Google toothache plant, it will pop up. I don't remember its proper name or scientific Latin name either, but it was amazing. I had it on Randall's Island Urban Farm. I was amazed at how numbing it was. My entire mouth just started disappearing. So we have eggs and we have beets, and I want to eat a beet. But I also want to finish making this salad of sorts. I don't think it made me salivate a lot, no. Should it have? Wait, I didn't read what you wrote before you retracted it. Was it something scandalous? Kara, you don't like the other parents? Or you just don't feel like socializing with them today? I understand. It must be exhausting to be a parent. I was just thinking today how not good of a parent I would be. I am very thankful that I'm not one. Look at you guys self-policing. I don't know if that's a good thing. Yeah, I think I could be an absolutely amazing aunt. And technically, I am an aunt to my cousin's child, I guess. Am I still an aunt if it's my cousin's child and not my siblings? I'm confused by American family naming conventions. I'm also confused by Chinese family naming conventions, too. I guess I'm more confused by the discrepancy and the differences between the two cultural naming conventions. See, even you guys don't agree. My second cousin. See, in Chinese culture, I'm an aunt. I'm a cousin to my cousin, but I'm an aunt to her child. It doesn't make sense that two different generations are both my cousins. How does that make sense? Yo. English does not make sense. See, yeah, I'm probably gonna be a better Mexican than I would be an American. The cultures are just too different. Now everyone's confused. This is what I do. I bring confusion into your lives. Listen to your therapist while you can. Right, Shelby? Right? How do people feel about outsiders coming into their cities to retire in? Do you hate them? Do you have any opinions towards those people? I hear that's happening to parts of Florida a lot too. People go there to retire with money, and now they've ended up basically gentrifying the whole place, and housing is bad. I don't have a hard stop at 7. That was more of a guideline for setting expectations for my viewership, so that most of you aren't exactly disappointed, I guess, when the time comes for me to say goodbye and sign off. But birthday parties at 8. I feel like most people are gonna trickle in, show up at 9. I'm certainly not going to stay past 9:30, I feel like. I have to get out of there before the partying and the drinking start because my bones were not made for that kind of interaction. I have done a knife sharpening stream actually quite recently, I think. I don't think there's gonna be food provided. I think I can buy food, and it's Jackson Heights, so there's always food around, but girl, I got trash at home. Why do I want outside food? Lots of hard-boiled eggs from grandma. Lots of cheap-ass garlic and peppers with spices waiting to be folded in. Let's season our eggs with some mayo. And now you've all seen this little mustard that could. Nice. Solid mayo ratio, always happy about that. I would say that's like almost a quarter cup in there. Probably more, actually. Last time I checked, my cholesterol was pretty high. But also last time I checked, the world might be ending in a few months, so I don't know if I give a shit anymore. A little bit of our truffle hot sauce that is in the upcoming taste test video that I'm currently editing. Which, if you follow me on Instagram, you would know this makes a superb lip gloss. What's ending the world now? Nothing new, Kara. We're just keep doing our stupid shit, you know, and then we pay for it. The top was bought for 100 yen in Tokyo at a thrift store, which was basically $1. This is $1 shirt. It's traveled halfway across the world. And for some extra acidity, I'm going to be adding in some of this French onion vinegar. That was part of the most recent Spice Club too. Looking forward to seeing how this concoction tastes all together. It is, I will say, very liberating to not give a fuck. The bad side is sometimes you suddenly stop not giving a fuck and suddenly you return to giving a fuck and then you regret all the times you didn't give a fuck. I'm gonna hope that doesn't happen to me anytime soon, but here it is so far. You know what? Let's mix this, taste it, and then add the vinegar. Let's not do too much at once. You can see that I'm not a scientist because scientists would probably add one thing at a time. But I just fuck with all the variables simultaneously. I draw no conclusions, I learn absolutely nothing, and I eat all of my experimental mistakes, successes. Sometimes I retroactively say that they were a mistake or a success because failures and success are just another moral system that holds no inherent truth. They are all arbitrary and up for debate. And if you can convince yourself that something is a success or a failure, then you have done it. Mm. Mm. What will I taste out of? Looking for that perfect tasting spoon. There you go. This one. How do you guys deal with conflict at work? I get fired. Worked out great for me. Mmm. Wow. This is good. I still want a little bit of vinegar. Whew, that's kind of spicy. French onion vinegar, collaboration with Lindera Farms. Still available for purchase, but I think at 2 p.m. we only had 70 bottles. So, a little drizz. This vinegar is way too fancy for me. I believe this is $11. It's 4 ounces, guys. That vinegar is $44 a pound. But it is very small batch. This vinegar took them over a year to make. It is fermented naturally from foraged herbs and also infused secondarily with brought and barrel spices. So when you buy from a small company who makes things carefully and in a time-consuming way, I guess you have to pay the price for it. Luckily, I don't have to because I work there. Mmm. I need some MSG. There are some customers who can afford all of these things. We had one lady buy 7 bottles of this vinegar. It was very impressive to me. White pepper, this is the last of Mom's white pepper. I'm just like knocking the dust out of it now. What a sexy wet sound. It's like the best mac and cheese sound. I definitely put way too much mayo in here, but it tastes so good. I kind of want to cut in the avocado in here now too, because what am I going to do with the avocado? Nothing. I am working with Brought and Barrel part-time. Really enjoy it. What up, Ram? Guys, we're gonna eat some beets too. Happy to report it's a very lovely team. It's a very lovely business concept. I said after I got fired from Delish that I don't want to work for assholes, and I have kept that promise to myself thus far. So I'm very lucky. Very fucking lucky. I'm a lucky girl. There's no video about leaving Delish, but there's a Business Insider article if you want to read it. Sorry. I wanted to do a beet lipstick for you real fast. That's why I'm awkwardly giving the beet the worst kiss it's ever had its entire life. Very natural blush. We love it. It's a great color. Sustainable, organic, edible makeup. Why buy lipstick when you can just buy beets? It'll turn your poop and pee pink too. I have eaten bulgur wheat before, yes. I used to work at Barbola and they had this kibe recipe that had bulgur in it. I've had to soak a lot of bulgur for that recipe. This is the worst kiss of my life. Mmm, good color. Whoa. That's pretty impressive. I'm changing the lighting so you can see it under different lighting conditions. Nice. It's great, guys. It's non-drying. It gives you vitamins and minerals. We should call this better than wine. Oh my god. I guess my kitchen window faces where the basement laundromat exhaust fans are, and somebody's laundry smells intense right now. Yes, I moved to this apartment last November. Okay, now we are putting it all together in one bite, under one roof, in one stomach, and becoming me. I will be egg salad and beets together. I will be beautiful and slightly stinky. And always and forever trash. I would love to use food items as makeup. I guess beets are the most dietastic of produce. I can't, what the fuck are you doing? I can't think of any other vegetable that dyes this easily, but I feel like blueberries could do a good job. Give you some undertones to balance out your warm tones with some cool tones, but has anyone seen Trump's mugshot? No, is it delightful? I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but if you're saying I need to see it before I die, I better get on it. What is it like living alone? Fan-fucking-tastic. I mean, you pay for it. You don't get to share bills with anybody else, but I can play music. I can have silence except for all the honking that happens outside because it's still New York City. I can fart whenever I want. I can eat whenever I want. I can poop whenever I want. I don't have to share the bathroom. I can clean whatever I want. I don't have to worry about being too messy. I also don't have to clean up other people's shit. So good. This is good. I don't think I needed to add that French onion vinegar because the beets are already pickled and they're providing such a nice acidic counterbalance to all that mayo I put in here. Turmeric could be fun. I just don't know what I would yellow. My face already has very yellow tints to it. My skin color is pretty yellow. I am a racist's dream stereotype. I really hate the fact that I am Chinese because whenever a stranger sees me be an Asian and they're always asking like, where are you from? And I don't tell them. And then you know how some of them start guessing where you're from when you don't tell them? And obviously the first country that they would guess is China, and they're always fucking right because I am Chinese. And in those moments, I just hate the fact that I'm Chinese because they're always fucking right. Damn it. I have to see that image? Okay. I'll Google it right after. Alright guys, I'm gonna go and rest up before I have to be an empty shell of a social person for 2 hours. But happy Friday. I hope you do something relaxing or peaceful or fun or restorative with your weekend, and even if you don't make yourself feel bad about it because you don't need that shit. None of us need that shit. But do try to drink some water and eat some fruit or vegetables. And sleep. Bye.